40. Okay. Oh, 11. Okay po, magandang hapon po sa lahat. Okay, so hopefully nakikita po ang aking screen. Okay, so for today po, we'll be covering three things. First one of our agenda is, ayan, we'll just talk briefly about stocks, how you earn money from stock market. And then we'll see yung ating portfolio. Okay, just to keep an eye on the status, if we're earning nga or hindi. And then, ayan. And then for the second agenda, we'll be talking about quality, how to manage quality, what are the common concepts on total quality management. And then for the third topic, we'll be talking more on statistical process control. So for the topics related sa managing quality and statistical process control, those will be discussed in more detail sa industrial quality control na subject nyo. Okay, so that's a full subject po. But then, pahahapyawan lang natin kasi that's part of the, what do you call this? Part of the topics ng operations management. Okay? Okay, so let's go first dun sa first agenda natin. So talking about stocks. Okay, so pag sinabing stocks, it's like you own a share for in a particular company. Let's say SM, Robinson, um, Dito, Globe, PLDT. So yan, may mga stocks sila. And then yung presyo ng stocks nila is ay iba-iba. For example, ang PLDT, that's about 1,000 pesos per share, per unit. Okay, isang unit ng share or isang share ng PLDT, that's about 1,000 pesos. Okay? And then ganun din halos yung sa SM. And then while I'm not sure of Robinson pero I think it's about 200 pesos yata pag Robinson. But then, ayan, ibig sabihin kung may 10,000 pesos ka, pwedeng 10 stocks lang or 10 shares lang yung or 10 units lang ng SM ang pwede mong mabili. Kasi nga 10,000 lang yung pera mo. But then, if you compare it to other companies, possibly pwede kang mag-own ng 200,000 stocks given na mababa yung presyo ng stock na yun. So maraming company to choose from sa Philippine Stock Exchange. Ayan, meron dong mga concerning about mining, properties, real estates, financial institutions like mga banks, BDO, Union Bank, Security Bank. Ayan, and then we also have yun sa mga commodities like Pure Gold, Merrimart. Ayan, and then sa mga utilities nga, that includes yung PLDT, Globe, Smart is under PLDT. Ayan, and then lately yun dito. Okay, so it's like when you own a stock, it's like you are holding a portion of a company or a company's asset or liabilities. Okay, so pag maganda yung position ng stocks or maganda ang position ng company na yon sa stock market, ayan, and then they are like gaining profit based on their financial reports, then more likely tataas yung stocks nila, and then you as part of or as holding some share of that company, magigain ka ng profit. Okay, now bakit daw po nagpa-public yung mga companies? Nag-offer sila ng public or ano man tawag doon, IPO. Ayan. Ayan, nag-offer sila ng shares in order for them to raise additional capital. So rather than borrowing money mula sa iba't ibang financial institutions in order for them to, let's say, expand their operations, to pay for their debts or to pay for their liabilities or so, ayan, one of the better way to immediately raise money is to offer or to make a public offering through stocks. Okay? It's different from a bond kasi po ang bond ay it's like uutang yung isang company, and then yun nga uutang siya at a certain level of interest. So and then babayaran niya, ayun nga, medyo mas malaki yung interest. So unlike dito sa stocks, they are offering a public or they are offering a IPO or public offering para walang risk sa walang interest. Ganun. Okay? So how does it differ with bonds? Ito kasing bonds, napapakinig nyo na to. Ito yung kuminsan yung government nag-offer siya ng bond. Let's say kayo as a public or public-private sectors, ayan, pwede kayo mag-invest sa government, magbibigay kayo ng pera sa government, and then let's say for 10 years, ayan, babayaran kayo ng quarterly ni government. Okay, makaka-receive kayo ng parang quarterly payments. Okay, para dun sa inutang or sa inyong ininvest na pera. Ngayon, yun nga, fix yung kanyang interest normally. Fixed siya. And then, regardless kung ano yung nangyayari sa market, still, yung interest rate ay the same. And normally, lower risk nga siya kasi ensured na may natatanggap kayo either quarterly, either monthly, or either yearly. Ayan, kaya sinasabi na it's a lower risk investment. There are several companies, dati hindi to ganun ka-popular itong bonds kasi nga po it requires you huge amount of money. But then sa ngayon, ino-offer na rin siya ng let's say Union Bank through Bond PH na even as small as 5,000 pesos pwede ka nang mag-offer ng or mag-invest through bonds. Ay, yun nga lang, yun nga, nagigain ka lang siya, nag-gain ka lang doon ng interest. Halimbawa, hopefully tama yung maging computation ko dito. Okay, halimbawa, nagbigay ka ng 10,000 pesos sa government and then you're expecting it na, let's say, for 4 years. Ibig sabihin, 4 times 4 years. So, ibig sabihin, so that's about, makaka-receive ka into yung, kung walang interest, 625,000 per quarter or about times 4 or about 2,500 per year in the next 4 years. Okay? Ngayon, dahil nga po may interest yung ating bond, so ito, tansyahan ko na lang, about 700 pesos ang marireceive mo per quarter. Insured po yan. And then that means for a year, makaka-receive ka ng 2,800 for the next 4 years. Ibig sabihin po, times 4. So, for the 4 years na andun yung pera mo sa bonds, ayan, makaka-receive ka for your investment of 10,000 pesos, makaka-receive ka ng 1,200 as profit. Okay? Ngayon, low risk nga po siya. Bakit? Kasi nga po, maliit lang yung kanyang interest. Insured po yung inyong interest. Wala, kumbaga sigurado na may makukuha kayo. Regardless kung kumita ba or hindi kumita yung bond na yun. Okay? So, may ma-receive pa rin kayo. Pero yung iba, nagde-deviate sila from using bond kasi nga po, ang liit lang nung perang na receive nila. And imagine, yung inflation rate dito sa Pilipinas, gaano kabilis. Diba? So, kung ngayon, kung dati yung 1,000 pesos, marami ka nang mabibili last year or 2 years ago. But now, konti na lang yung pwede mo mabili for your 1,000 pesos. So, ibig sabihin, for the 4 years, yung 1,200 na ito, na profit mo, malaki na dapat yan supposedly if you invested it to other investments. So yun nga, ang pantapat lang dito is whether your interest rate will meet, kumbaga, will meet or exceed yung ating inflation rate. Saka mo ma-appreciate na, okay, I gain something na malaki for the 4 years na nandun yung aking pera sa bonds. Okay, so that's how bond works. Ngayon, dito naman sa stocks, stocks naman po, you're earning profit through asset appreciation. Okay? And this is dependent. This is more risky than the bond kasi nga po, we don't know what will be the market status. Like for now, ako personally, lugi ako sa investment ko sa ngayon kaya hindi ko chine-check. Ayan, and then even yung sa mga US stocks ko, mababa rin yung aking gains ngayon. Ayan, so nakaka-disappoint. Pero yun nga, high risk siya, pero yun nga, normally kasi if it's a higher risk, the higher return. Diba? The higher the risk, the higher the return. Kaya ako minsan, yung iba, kaya hindi ako naniniwala na pag maliit lang yung investment mo tapos malaki na yung gain. ano, or maliit lang yung iyong risk, then malaki yung gain mo, parang kalokohan na yun. May something na mali dun sa sistema na yun. Okay? So, dito po sa stocks, yun nga, nagigain ka ng profit through market appreciation. And ito, depende sa iyo kung ano yung magiging return mo. So, I think it's better to see kung ano bang status. So, last time, di ba, pina-require ko kayong magkaroon ng virtual account sa Instagram. So, kung mapapansin nyo, let's see muna yung aking records. So, ayan, bumili ako last time. Or sorry, ayan, pinagbenta ko pala. Bumili ako ng ASEN and then pinagbenta ko. ASEN, this is Ayala Corporation, parang energy department nila. Or this is mainly concerning sa renewable sources of energy. Okay, and then bumili akong 4,000 shares at amount of 748 or I think lesser than that. And then nag-gain ako ng profit dito. So makikita naman dito yung nag-gain kong profit for ASEN. So that's about 1,300 kasi nga po maliit lang naman yung ilang araw ko lang naman siya trinade. And then ayan. And then kung mapapansin nyo dito, bumili rin ako last time ng land dito. Hindi ko sure kung anong company itong land eh. Yeah, it's a city and land developers for properties. I bought 10,000 stocks or 10,000 shares at amount of 2.51. So ito po yung value niya. Less yung mga fees. Okay? And right now, ito yung current price niya, 2.71. Ibig sabihin, nag-increase siya day over day ng 8.40 pesos. So in just a day, with my investment of 25,000 pesos, I gained 1,800 pesos na kaagad. Again, ang option nyo lamang dito sa Instagram is market value, market price. Ibig sabihin, hindi ka makapag-modify kung kailan mo gustong ibenta to. Let's say, at a point na na-achieve niya yung 2.8 kanina. Halimbawa, so kung kailan mo lang i-hit yung sell na to, yun yung current price na magagamit. Okay? So for now, di ba ang initial amount natin dito ay 100,000. That's of course a virtual amount. And then, ayan, nag-gain naman ako dito. So, pwede ko na siyang ipagbenta so that I can take profit. That's how you earn money through stock market. It's a buy and sell. Okay? Bibili ka sa mababa, ipagbebenta mo pag mataas na yung value niya. Okay po? So, I can just hit sell here. And then, number of shares, I have options if I want to just sell a portion of 10,000. But wala akong pakialam. I-send, ayan ako na eh. I-all in ko na. So, 10,000 and then, yun nga, may mga fees dyan. For every buy and sell na gagawin mo transaction, please expect a fee. Okay? So, ayan yung magigain ko, 26,000. And then, pag sinhinit ko yung sell na to, pansin nyo, doon pumunta siya sa available cash. And then, it allows me to buy more stocks pa. So, right now, ang pera natin is 102,000. So, yun nga, dahil nga po may magandang or pwede akong mag-check what are the trending stocks. Ayan, let's see, punta akong home para makita ko ano yung kailangan gusto kong bilhin if I want to buy something na. Okay, so tingnan natin ano ba maganda dito. Ito, halimbawa, first gen. F-gen, ano pa ba maganda? Hanap tayo ng iba. Trend, pwede kayong doon sa trending na stocks, wala namang problema. Ito, PHR, halimbawa, kung mapapansin nyo, yung trend, yung chart niya pababa, but then, ayun, may konting hugot na dito na pataas. Okay, ibig sabihin, possibly, ang next resistance na tinatawag, again, that's a technical term, ang next resistance probably is nandito, nasa 2.6. So, madaas yung chance na tataas pa to. Okay, aabot siya ng 2.6 kinabukasan or sa mga susunod na araw. So, let's buy PHR. Okay, but then siguro PHR, syempre yung iba tinitingnan mo na yung ano ba yung company na to. Okay? So dito na lang ako, PHR. And then ano ba yung background ng company na to? So for example, it's a resource holding. So anong expectation mo sa resorts? Ayun o, nag-gain na siya ng konti. 0.11. So, and then pwede mong tingnan dito sa moving averages if it is bullish or not. So may mga these are just indicators. And then yung mga RSI na to. So, ayan, let's look on the chart. So, looking at the chart, seems like potentially tataas pa to kinabukasan. Hindi na ako magkakaroon dito ng mga ibang mga charting ganyan. Pero, yun nga, I'm expecting na tataas siya kinabukasan. So, if I add, let's say, yung moving average, ayan, ME20. Yeah, okay. Double click ko lang yun. And then, 20 days. Ayan, okay, na-beat niya na yung 20 days. Ibig sabihin, more likely tataas pa siya dito. Tataas siya, more likely. Okay, again, that's an indicator din. Okay, so ibig sabihin, bibili ako ng stocks niya. So, paano ba bumili dito? So, I'll just look on the chart ulit. And then, I'll just hit buy. So, ang current price na 2.27. So, if I hit buy, ayan, and then I have 34,000. So, ito doon natin. Let's see. Ang board lot, meaning ng board lot is dapat divisible sa ganyan yung bibilhin mo. So, yan, divisible naman, 10,000. So, if I place 10,000 stocks, if I order 10,000 stocks, or sabihin natin, ano ba? 34? Nope. Kulang ang pera ko, 24. 12,000, 14,000, 15,000. Ayun, pwede 15,000 stocks. Ito doon natin. Wala namang problema. Pwede naman yung hati-hatiin choice, no? Pero dahil ako tinatamad, so isa na lang. So resorts group, so probably concern niya ay mga hotels, di ba? Again, you can check the internet kung ano ba yung background about PHR. But I'm thinking that it's related sa resorts world, something like that. Okay, so ayan. I just hit confirm buy. Okay, at the market price po yung binili ko kasi wala naman akong choice, sarado na yung market ngayon. And then kung titingnan natin yung portfolio, ayan, makikita nyo na dito yung PHR. So ngayon, lost ako ng 405. Bakit po? Kasi gawa ng mga fees. Okay? And yun nga, okay lang naman kasi sa ngayon, 102,000. So I already gained 2,000 pesos pa. Okay lang yan. Okay? So far, ito po. Yung iba, pwede kong i-close na to. Kasi nga po, alam ko negative. Pero I'm hoping pa rin kasi nga SM to in a long run. Diba? Once na nag-ease na yung restriction. So balik normal na siguro yung operations sa SM. So marami na uli yung mamimili ng sa SM. So probably tataas na yung kanyang value. Similarly, ganun din sa Jollibee. So I'll just keep holding them for now. Okay? Even if I'm at loss sa kanila. Okay, so far yan muna yung sa talking points about the stock market. Hopefully you continue to monitor your portfolio kasi I am 100% sure na if you know this, I'm 100% sure na may encounter nyo to years from now. Okay? Okay. So I talked earlier about my position sa na nag-hold din ako ng stock sa US. And then I'm using eToro for example. Ayan, eToro. Ayan, so far, ayan, yung loss ko. Nasa $60 kasi po I hold some stocks sa Tesla. Ayan o, pulang-pula ako dito. So, hindi maganda. Okay. So, yan. But then, ayan, bagsak ngayon talaga yung stock market sa US eh. So, And it's also reflective sa kung ano yung nangyayari sa Pilipinas na stock market. Halos lahat naman eh. But then, given na may vaccination na halos karamihan sa US, so we're expecting na US stocks gaganda na siya. Okay, in days or months from now. Okay? So, questions? Wala naman? Okay. So, I'm still presenting. So, let's cover yung second topic natin for today, which concerns about... Okay, sana tama yung aking ginawa. Oh, parang hindi ko to na change. Section B. Okay. Okay lang yan. Para hindi na rin ako magsulat. Okay. Hold on. Okay. So, talking about quality. So, once again, for the next two agenda natin, managing quality and statistical process control will be covered. It will be further covered in detail sa industrial quality control na subject nyo. Okay? And besides, some of you may already have their certification certification ba din? Sa yellow belt training or underwent uh, uh, yellow belt training. So, ito, very basic na lamang. So, daanan lang natin to. Ano? So, in managing quality, first, let's define what quality is. Ang sa amin, or the way I interpret it, it's like a fitness for use. It depende sa inyo how you perceive quality. Okay? Maybe quality in terms of like meeting standards. Di ba? You've set standards, and once na-meet mo yung standards na yun, masasabi natin na you're doing things great, you're doing things with quality, or you're rendering services with quality, you're producing products with quality. Tama? Ngayon, yung iba, they are also treating quality depending on the fitness for use. Ano po ibig sabihin yan? Insofar as an item or a product delivers what it is or what its purpose, how it is being used, ayan, masasabi natin na it's a quality part, it's a quality product. Kasi nga po, na-deliver niya naman yung kanyang intended purpose. Malinaw? Okay po. So, yan, meeting standards, fitness for use, and so far as you're satisfied with how a product or service are being done, then masasabi natin na it's of good quality. Tama? Now, ano yung implications nitong quality? One, if you see that a product is of great quality, ayan, or a company is of great quality, ayan, meaning nag-establish na tayo ng magandang reputation for any product na pinuproduce ng company na yun. Ayan, whatever product na pinuproduce nila, of good quality. For example, Apple. Ayan, automatic, di ba? Parang tingin natin, it's a symbol of, ano bang tawag din? Richness. Hindi naman richness eh. Luxury. It's a symbol of luxury, somewhat like that. Okay? So, pag sinabi nating Apple, whatever product na pinuproduce nila, magandang quality. Ano? Matibay. Luxury. Ayan. So, yun nga po, we already established a good reputation dun sa company na yun. Tama? Ano pang example natin dito? Honda, for example, Honda cars, 'di ba? Or kahit na Honda na motor, 'di ba? Kung pag nag-release ang Honda ng bagong model, okay, we're expecting something mula sa kanya na matibay to, maganda tong product na to. Tama. Unlike pag ang company mo is bago pa lang, so wala pa masyadong tiwala yung tao sa'yo, hindi mo pa na-establish yung reputation mo, okay, as a company. Malinaw po. Ngayon, also, part of establishing company reputation, it also indicates that the employees are doing excellent practices. Okay? And we're able to establish good supplier relation. Okay, meaning yung mga suppliers mo they want to continue doing their business with you as a company. Kasi nga po, maganda yung product mo, sustainable, and then, yun nga, may maganda kayong relasyon with your suppliers. Okay? And at the same time, ang quality po, it provides you good product availability, good product liability. Okay? Insured ka na matibay yung product mo, and then less yung risk na masisira siya, magtatagal yung product mo. So okay, dito yun. And then also it indicates that your company can be able to compete with other companies globally. Let's say for example, di ba maganda? Jollibee. Okay, yung Jollibee as a company, may na-establish na natin yung meron na silang reputation, and then okay naman yung kanilang products, and then they are able to compete globally. Okay, they are able to compete with McDo, with KFC and the likes. Another example are yung mga China-made cars. Initially dito sa Pilipinas, that years ago, wala tayong tiwala for the Chinese-made cars, tama? But now, tingnan mo yung kalsada natin, how many of the cars here are made from China? How many of the cars na nagta-travel sa mga roads natin ay made sa China? Tama? We have MG. Ano pa ba? MG lang ang kilala ko. Ayun, basta medyo madami na tayong cars na made in China. Ibig sabihin, ito yung risk na knowing na it's a China-made part, it's a China-made car, parang bumababa na rin, di ba? Kasi nga, halos na-establish na rin ng mga Chinese companies, Chinese car makers, yung kanilang mga companies or kanilang pangalan dito sa atin and even globally. Okay? Next, we have 7 concepts here on TQM. When we talk of TQM, it refers to total quality management, meaning quality management, you're ensuring that you're producing good quality within the standards. But then, for any kinds of initiatives, any quality initiatives, any kinds of improvement initiatives, everyone must be involved. That's where the total here implies. Okay, total quality management, meaning everyone is involved in participating sa quality improvements, ensuring na nami-meet natin yung mga standards. Okay? Now, we have 7 concepts of TQM or total quality management. We have continuous improvement or tinatawag nating CI, and we have 6 Sigma din. Pag sinabing, continuous improvement muna pala tayo. So, CI, yun nga, yung mga projects na related sa how will you continually improve yung processes nyo or yung operations nyo or yung products nyo. And then, Six Sigma, ensuring that pare-pareho yung mga products na ginagawa natin. Okay, na malapit dun sa target level. Okay, minimal yung variance, minimal yung variability or yung differences. Kumbaga, dikit-dikit yung resulta. Pag weight, hindi malalayo yung weights. Okay, pag dimension, dikit-dikit yung dimension, minimal lang yung difference. Employee empowerment, yun nga, because we're talking about total quality management here, everyone is involved. So therefore, everyone must be empowered na, okay, they look more than what they are doing. They are trying to achieve more than the set of goals na initially naibigay sa kanila. They are able to make use of their abilities to look for how can they further improve what they are doing. Okay? Okay, and then, yun nga, for any kinds of quality initiatives, involved sila. And even sila po yung nagre-recommend what or nagpo-propose ng mga actions na possibly maka-help to improve yung quality nung process nila, ng products. When we talk of benchmarking naman po, it's like copying it's like determining the best practices. Okay? Ano yung best practices dun sa industry na yun, sa operations na yun, sa process na yun. And you may make use of those best practices para makapag-set ka ng standards nyo. Makapag-set ka on how you measure your performance. Okay? If maganda ba yung performance natin or pangit. 'Di ba? That's the only way to measure it, yung performance natin, to have like a reference point. Okay? Just in time naman po, it's very important sa total quality management, ensuring na wala tayong tinatago. Na yung mga, what I mean by wala tayong tinatago is yung mga problema natin is nai-reveal natin and then later on masosolve. Okay? Okay, so we'll be talking more dito. And then Taguchi concepts naman po, almost related siya sa Six Sigma na minimal dapat yung reduction. Minimal dapat yung variation natin. And then with the Taguchi concepts, parang nire-reveal niya, okay, yung even if you are meeting the specification limits or yung tolerances natin, still may mga dissatisfaction pa rin tayo, may mga quality losses pa rin tayo. Hindi natin na fully meet yung quality standards or quality targets na gusto natin. And then for the knowledge of TQM tools, this covers yung 7QC tools, which are check sheets, scatterplot, cause and effect, Pareto, flowcharts, histogram, last is SPC. Ayan. Okay, so talking about continuous improvement, andyan yung term na Kaizen. Okay? So ito, discuss na lang nila to in detail sa lean manufacturing, but it also refers dun sa mga processes mo na continually nag-i-improve. Ito po, we're not looking dito sa continuous improvement as a big leap. Hindi po to parang elevator, guys, na okay, ito yung na kung gusto mo makarating sa level 5, isang pindot lang, then level 5 ka na instantly. Okay, ito po ay parang hagdanan na kailangan mong pagdaanan step by step bago ka makarating dun sa level na gusto mo. Kumbaga, para siyang sa video game na start ka muna sa level 0, then pag-aralan mo yung buong sistema, how can you further improve, papunta sa level 1. And then from level 1, of course, as you continuously seek to improve yung processes nyo, or as you continuously see yung mga potential problems na possibly mag-block sa inyo to further improve, ayan, yan, kailangan pagdaanan. Okay? Isa-isa. Okay? So again, it's a never-ending continual improvement process and it covers everyone. It's dapat po yung mga taong involved ay mag-participate on those continuous improvement projects. Okay? Kasi pag hindi sila informed or hindi sila nag-participate doon, possibly, ayan, maapektuhan yung kanilang mga current na ginagawa or possibly sila pa yung mag-block doon sa ating initiatives na ito on how to improve yung process. Okay? Sa equipment, ensuring na may preventive maintenance, good or perfectly running yung inyong mga equipment, mga machineries. And then materials of good quality rin po. Ayan, kasi dito sa continuous improvement, i-reveal natin din yung mga problema about materials, with if bagsak ba yung quality nila, may kailangan pa ba nating i-improve yung mga materials na yun, and then of course yung mga procedures din. Okay? So dito po sa continuous improvement, pag may mga projects kayo, yan ay parang pursuit to perfection eh. Pero syempre napakahirap ma-achieve yung perfection. Okay? So ilang projects yung kailangan mong pagdaanan. Dito sa amin, pag may mga CI improvement activities kami, let's say ang initial target namin is 10% improvement. Okay? So ibig sabihin, okay, so let's say ang isang process na gagawa namin in 2 hours. And then ang aming goal ngayon is tapusin yung process na yon in 1:50 or 1:30 hours. Okay? Ngayon, syempre, okay, that's the initial goal. Okay, and then once na na-achieve na namin yung 130, we will continuously look paano pa kaya natin mai-improve to. Okay, and then that opens up another continuous improvement project. Let's say a goal here is tapusin naman natin to in 1 hour and 20 minutes. Okay, and then later on, ikakat pa natin, mas papabilisin pa hanggang sa masabi natin na okay, initially wala nang improvement. But then over time, may makikita pa rin kayo na ways to further improve yung tingin nating best na. Okay? So that's how continuous improvement project works. Ngayon, ang basihan po dito sa CI activities ay itong PDCA cycle. It's like plan, do, check, and act. You identify ano yung mga problema, ano yung solution, ay problema solution, and then you check if the solution will work, and then if that solution works, then i-document natin. Napakahalagang i-document natin siya para may reference point tayo, and then yung mga future na makakatouch dun sa projects natin, ayan, para makapag-refer sila doon. Okay? And then yun nga, kailangan nating i-implement if we see na, okay, it gives us a good progress. However, if hindi, then of course, you can always replan. Kaya nga po cycle, diga. It's like a trial and error. You have to plan it, check if that works, then ipa-implement natin if tingin natin nag-work, and then how can you further improve it, so on and so forth. So that's how PDCA cycle works. Okay? Okay, some examples ng continuous improvement projects. Yung nakaka-receive kayo ng mga ganitong klaseng notifications indicating that they are doing some upgrading. So those upgrading activities and maintenance activities will help to reduce yung ating mga downtimes, mga ano ba tawag din? Mga, let's say, yun nga, downtimes, mga slowdowns ng ating sistema. Okay? So, ayan, nakaka-receive kayo ng ganito para, yun nga, ma-address nila yung mga problema na to. Okay. But then, syempre, yung iba naman po, for example, ito, yung energy consumption sa company. So, engineering team may look on ways to cut yung electricity bills nila. And one of their proposals could be to use solar panels. By using solar panels, initially wala pa tayong makikitang progress, kasi nga po mahal yung mga solar panels, medyo malaki yung investment, so hindi pa natin makikita yung savings. But then over time, ito yung kailangan nilang ipakita na okay, if we are able to set up solar panels, ang ating electricity bills ay bababa and we can able to save more years from now. Initially, wala masyado kasi yun nga, because of the cost of installing solar panels, but then yung benefits will outweigh the results. Okay? Example din po ay ito, if you have like robots sa company, and then if you see na merong mga failure rates yung robots natin, na medyo nagkakamali sila sa pagsasort, then you can stop the process and review ano yung nangyari. Bakit kaya nagkakamali sila, and then ayan, you can look on ways on how to solve those sorting problems. Okay? So, ganyan po nangyari. And then, dito naman po, another example po is like sa lean din, in relation sa lean, you're trying to eliminate yung waste, yung mga wasted efforts, yung mga overprocessing, yung mga laborious na trabaho na medyo hindi naman nagbibigay ng ganong kalaking benefit. Okay? So in here, you're trying to compare whether spraying a chemical or spraying chemicals with the tree or with the fruit once a month outweighs itong pagbabalot sa kanila. Pagbabalot ng mga prutas na to. Okay, given na yung pagbabalot nito ay laborious and yun nga, pag umulan, masisira kaagad. Okay? So, ayan, kailangan i-review yan. Which of the two is better? Okay? So, question, wala. So, napakarami po na CI activities dito. Pagpunta nyo sa industry, automatic may project kayo about continuous improvement. Okay? But then that project involves a lot of people, involves you working or you working in a team. Hindi po yan isa lang. Kailangan po data-driven lahat. Okay? Next, Six Sigma naman po. Ang goal dito sa Six Sigma is trying to reduce yung concept ng variability or as much as possible, yung ating resulta ay pare-pareho. Okay? So statistically speaking, it is defined as achieving a process that is 99.9997% capable with only 3.4 defects per million opportunities. What does it mean? So kung mayroon kang 1,000,000 na parts na pinoproduce ngayong araw na to, you are only expecting less than 4 na bad parts. Okay? Ngayon, paano ba natin mako-consider na good or bad yung isang bagay? Di ba, may sineset tayong standards, may sineset tayong tolerance. So let's say ito yung ating target level. Ito yung ating araw, days na production natin. Ayan, ito yung isang axis lang ito. Okay? And then we can set, syempre, meron tayong mga tolerance level dito. Ito yung tolerance natin. Sabihin natin, ito yung limits. Okay? Ibig sabihin, hanggat yung ating result ay nandito, ito yung scatter plot natin halimbawa, yung ating result ay hindi lumalampas dito sa limits, masasabi natin na okay, good parts pa siya. Okay? Okay po. So ito yung sabihin nating output kada minute. Okay? So yung iba, in order for, if yung Six Sigma nga po, ang goal niya is to reduce yung variability or yun nga, dapat halos pare-pareho sila ng resulta. Maliit lang yung difference ng points na to sa target. Ayan, yun po yung ibig sabihin ng variability, yung distansya ng actual result sa target nyo ay dapat mami-minimize natin. Ibig sabihin halos magkakamukha, halos pare-pareho, very small detail lang yung difference. Okay? Ngayon, if you're able to ensure na less yung variability, definitely, maliit lang yung madideclare natin na defects. Tama? Kasi pare-pareho tayo ng output. Pare-pareho ng resulta. So, minimal lang yung defects. And kung minimal yung defects, so wala akong masyadong marireceive na reklamo mula customers. Wala masyadong returns mula customers, which eventually cut our cost. Okay? And also improve and save some time. And also, you're ensured na dinideliver mo yung or nakakapag-deliver ka in such a way na customer are satisfied. Okay? So that is what is meant by Six Sigma. Ang main goal niya is ma-reduce yung ating variability. Yung iba, ayan nga po. So konsepto ng Six Sigma is ito po. Okay, so hindi ko na ito i-discuss in detail ha. But then, yun nga, if we are trying to express it in Greek term, di ba, we have 6 and then sigma. So sigma, that refers to the standard deviation. Okay? Or yung layo nung point na to, nung result dun sa mean. Okay? Ngayon, yung iba, para ma-meet natin yung Six Sigma, di ba, 3.4 defects per million opportunities, parang palalawakin nila yung limits. Di ba? So, halimbawa, kung ganito po yung ating, asan ka? Ayan, kung initially ganito yung ating limits. Ayan, may mga points outside. Okay. So ano masasabi nyo? Out of control yung process natin. Kasi nga po, ito yung ganito ka-tight yung ating limits. Yung ating acceptable region. But then, if you're able to review yung limits natin, probably pala pwede kong ma-extend siya dito. Yan yung gagawin kong level. And what does it mean kung ganyan yung level natin? Yung mga points na to which we previously declare as bad parts dito sa initial level natin, if you reset yung inyong level at this point, at this certain point po na yan, ibig sabihin, acceptable pa rin to, good parts pa rin. Malinaw? So that's a funny thing about Six Sigma. So it's more of reviewing what levels are you trying to set. Okay? Yun nga, mahabang-habang usapan pa yan, pero yun initially, we're trying to look for the best limits nito in such a way na yung resulta natin ay less varied. Okay? So, yung iba, in-integrate yung concept ng lean manufacturing with the Six Sigma. That is what is meant by Lean Six Sigma. Ang main purpose ng lean natin is to identify and eliminate the waste. We have 7 or multiple types of waste. I think 8 types of waste. That includes overproduction, your waiting time, your transportation, your unnecessary motion, yung mga overprocessing mo, like for example, over-inspection, and then having a lot of inventory. So those are waste, and then mga defective parts, those are waste. So with the concept of lean, we can make use of several techniques dito or several tools para ma-identify natin and later on eliminate natin yung mga waste na yun. Example of mga tools natin is mga 6S, single minute exchange of dies, mga pokayoke, and the likes. Okay, napakaraming konsepto doon in order for us to eliminate those, identify, and then later on eliminate those waste. Kung hindi man eliminate is to reduce those waste. And then sa concept ng Six Sigma, you're trying to look to, or goal dito is on variability reduction. So may mga tools tayong ginagamit, may siste tayo dito or sistema. We can make use of the DMAIC method or define, measure, analyze, inspect, improve and control. Ayan, and several control charts that would ensure na yung variability is na monitor and then variability ay nami-minimize. Okay? So combining the two, that would result sa concept ng Lean Six Sigma. Okay? Kasi nga po, dito sa reduction ng variability, parang hindi ka nagfo-focus sa ano yung problema. Parang you're just, sa concept ng Six Sigma, you're just waiting for the result for something to happen. Okay? Bago mo ma-review yung proseso. But dito sa concept ng lean, meron ka ng proactive approach na okay, let's remove those waste, those inefficiencies. Okay? And then from there, possibly that could impact the results on variability. Okay? So several topics ang pwede nating, or pwede kayong mag-search na lang sa net kung ano-ano yung mga topics or mga examples about Six Sigma or mga examples ng Six Sigma projects. So you may check that link. Okay, again, napakarami naman po nating references. Okay, next of the TQM concepts is the employee empowerment. Sabi nga daw, total quality management, meaning everyone must be involved. Okay? Everyone must be involved in those initiatives, those improvement initiatives, those product and process improvements. Okay, but then, ito ang kailangan nating maintindihan. That 85% of all of the quality problems are not because of the people, but it's more related sa proseso and sa mga materials na ginamit. So, kung magro-root cause analysis ka, hindi dapat mo i-point out na mali ang tao, na kasalanan niya ng mga tao. So, that's mali yun. Okay? So, once again, bawal sisihin ang tao. Okay? It could be sa way, sa process, sa way na ginagawa nila yung trabaho na yun. Okay, so again, ang paninisi, hindi sa tao, kundi sa proseso. Okay po. Kailangan natin yung maintindihan. So, again, if our employee is empowered, if our employees are involved on those improvement initiatives, which will possibly affect how they do things, how they perform their task, ayan, we can be able to build a good environment. Again, mataas yung moral ng mga tao. Okay, kasi nga, alam nila na part sila ng team, part sila ng improvement initiatives. And then, yun nga, maganda yung communication, open yung communication, then they can raise your concerns, they can raise yung mga, yun nga, mga concerns nila, makakapag-suggest sila ng mga actions. Ayan, and then they can be more responsible. Ayan. Okay, so yun po. As much as possible, everyone is involved and empowered yung ating mga employees. So with our employees being empowered, they can do actions. Ibig sabihin, alam nila na okay, it's a possible. It's possible. They are optimistic. Okay? Hindi sila nagre-restrict na okay, hindi ko kaya yung gawin. Okay? And then being part or those employees being part of those improvement initiatives, they can embrace whatever changes na nangyayari. 'Di ba? For example, pupunta ka sa company, andun na yung mga nakakatanda na ayaw baguhin yung sistema nila even if alam mong may mas magandang way or mas efficient na way, yun na yung nakasanayan. So with empowered employee, given na sila ay part ng team, given na part sila nung improvement initiative na yun, hindi nila i-restrict yung sarili nila na ayokong baguhin yung nakasanayan. They can embrace changes. Okay? Also, ayan, better customer service, better communication. One can find themselves as being more productive. Okay? And then they can eventually follow what's the best practice. Kasi nga po, part ng improvement initiative natin is setting standards. Setting what are the correct actions, what are the best practices, which then, as they embrace yung changes na yun, they could also follow yung best practices. And then, yun nga, they can go extra mile. What does it mean? Parang hindi lang nila gagawin kung ano yung dapat gawin nila. They can always strive to achieve more. Okay? Parang hindi na sila kontento sa hanggang dito na lang ba yung ating kayang gawin. They can not move mountains, but yeah, idiomatically, yes, move mountains. Okay? So, ayan po yung ating employee empowerment. And then, another concepts natin is yung benchmarking. In here, we're trying to look what are the best practices. And those best practices can serve as a standard on how to measure our performance. So, sa amin, tawag namin dito is, what's the best in class? Pag sinabing best in class, halimbawa, automotive industry, we can of course compute yung aming mga KPIs or key performance indicators or mga goals namin. Let's say ang goal namin kinumpute is 92 days. But then how can we say na 92 days is good enough? 92 days of inventory is good enough. We can do that by comparing our target against our competitors, against the companies of the same nature of business. Let's say Toyota, Honda, and the likes, di ba? So, ayan, may evaluate namin if 92 days of inventory is just enough, just right. Or is it too low, is it too high? May evaluate namin yan. Again, that can be done through benchmarking. It's like, halimbawa, again, let's set politics aside. How can you measure if Philippines' COVID response ay good enough? Di ba? Paano natin masasabi na we're doing great on our COVID response? Di ba? So, mahirap if you won't compare. Di ba? Yeah, masamang mag-compare. But in terms of measuring your performance, maganda yung may basehan tayo. Okay? Of course, Philippines is a third world country, so hindi natin maganda i-compare siya with Canada, with Singapore, even if Singapore is in Southeast Asia, probably with other nations na within our level. Sabihin natin ganun. Like for example, Thailand, Vietnam. So, yung Indonesia. Ayan. So, yung COVID response nila, pwede natin i-compare how are we doing. And then we can say if we're underperforming or if we're performing better than them. Okay? So, that is a concept of benchmarking. Okay? And then, again, kung wala kang basihan kung ano yung magiging standard mo or ano yung magiging measuring gauge mo, 'di ba? How can you further improve? Ano is good? How can you say na good is good enough? Tama? Kung wala kang basihan nga, kung wala kang kumbaga point of reference. Okay? So an example of benchmarking is and this one, fire response. So you can set a benchmarking by looking on the average amongst these cities. Halimbawa, Lipa City among these barangay. So ito yung mga barangay responses natin sa apoy pag nagkasunog. So yung iba 7 minutes bago dumating yung mga fire trucks. Yung iba 5 minutes, yung iba 3 minutes. So you can set a benchmark dito sa as the average of those responses and you can identify if yung bang response sa barangay nyo ay matagal or mabilis or just within the average. Okay? So yan po yung ibig sabihin nito. So from there you can look on why is this barangay mabagal yung response. Anong nangyari? Malayo ba? So you can make more a deep dive analysis. Okay? Example din po, you can set the median as your benchmark. You can identify, for this case, is a janitorial cost. You can identify if you're doing better, underperforming, or overperforming against the standards. And from there, you can take actions. Like for this case, mas mataas siya sa median. So, even if yun nga, mas mataas siya sa median, so what are the corrective actions na pwede natin gawin in order to cut yung ating mga costing? Okay? Another example, ito, market average is ito, and then the best sa market or market leader natin is ito. Then this is your company, and this is another company. For your company, ano masasabi natin for your different processes? Against the market average, you're doing better. You're doing also better against the average for your another process, for your process C. But again, it's not always good to compare against average. 'Di ba? Kasi parang okay, hanggang average na lang ba tayo? So maybe you can look on how to compare your processes against your market leader. So for example, on this one, for process A, this is the market leader. They are doing 80% improvements. Ayan. While you're just 70%. So how can we even improve itong ating process A in order to meet or to get closer to the market leader? Okay? So ganyan po yung konsepto ng benchmarking. Okay? So benchmarking can be when you're looking for the best practices, it's not just external but also it could be an internal best practice. For external, you're looking for other companies, what are their best practices. But for internally, pwede yung what are the best practices for another department. And then that can be used as a basis for your analysis, for your standards. Okay? So once you're able to identify what are the standards, you can then evaluate how can we achieve that standards. Ano yung mga kailangan natin gawin para ma-achieve yung mga standards na yun. Let's say this is your current situation. Okay? So, and then in terms of energy consumption, ito yung gastos nyo. But then, as a standard, ito yung best practice na, okay, kailangan daw pala $0.52 per watt, yun yung ating magiging gastos. You should establish like a waterfall chart. This is an example of a waterfall chart. Waterfall. Ayan o, parang waterfall. Waterfall. Okay. Ayan. How can you establish like a roadmap para ma-achieve natin yung standard na to, yung best practice na to? Okay? This is what you do now. How can we achieve, how can we meet those best practices? So like for example, in this case, we have eh, improving your efficiency by 25%, running at a better output, lesser expending, and the likes. Okay, kailangan mag-establish din tayo ng ganitong klaseng roadmap. Okay. Next of the concept is yung just-in-time. So sa just-in-time in relation sa quality, yun nga, ayaw natin na itago yung mga problema. Ayaw natin ng band-aid solution. Gusto natin na ang solusyon is hindi maging permanent. Okay, hindi siya temporary kundi permanent yung ating solution. So sa just-in-time kasi, it's like kung kailan lang kailangan, saka mo lang gagawin. Sa atin parang ang pangit pakinggan. Tama? Halimbawa, may project ka. So kung kailan lang malapit yung due date, saka mo gagawin. Okay? Hindi ganun po. Okay? Okay, pero parang ganun po yung konsepto ng just-in-time. Kung kailan lang kailangan, saka siya gagawin. At least you're able to meet kung ano yung kailangan, di ba? Yung quality na kailangan. So, dito sa just-in-time, ito po yung mga examples. You're only purchasing materials only when it is needed. Mahirap yan na ma-achieve kasi may mga lead time na kinakailangan and then you're expecting na yung mga problema related sa suppliers natin ay solve na. Kasi imagine may demand na pumasok na-receive mo, may order na pumasok. And then syempre ipoproduce mo pa yung finished goods doon. Then bibili ka ng raw materials. Yung raw materials mo, isosource mo halimbawa sa ibang bansa. So yung mga transportation time pa na kailangan, paano natin mag-consider. Okay? So it's not really purchasing only when it's needed, but ensuring na yung inventory natin ay mababa. Okay? So another example, you're only processing a semi-finished item when it is needed sa production, sa next operation nila. You're only shipping parts when you'll only ship parts so or yung warehouse mo ay ginagamit mo sa shipping station, not just a stocking location. Kasi, di ba, warehouse, ang tingin natin, it's a location whereas doon natin ilalagay yung stocks natin. But then, ayaw naman natin ng punong-puno yung warehouse natin, di ba? Ang gusto natin nga, ang warehouse natin, walang halos naman, pero konti lang yun naman kasi we know na nasi-ship ka agad yung mga parts natin nandun sa warehouse. Okay? So, concept ng just-in-time po. Ayan, it's a pull system. You're only producing parts when you receive a signal. Okay? Halimbawa, ito po, namamangka ka and then you're looking for waste. Okay? Yung mga basura, mga garbage. Okay, di ba pag namamangka ka, syempre, tumitingin ka lang sa surface ng tubig. Okay, and then kung makikita ka ng basura, okay, lilimutin mo. Okay? I-address mo yung problema na yun. Parang ganun. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, parang tumitingin lang tayo sa kung ano yung naka-reveal na. Ano yung kita ng problema, saka natin isosolve. Isosolve na natin kasi andyan na siya. But then, yun nga, parang ito sa pamamangka, we don't know na napakarami rin palang problema na nasa ilalim ng tubig. Okay? Nasa seafloor. Pero, hindi natin siya nakikita pag tayo ay nagmamasid. Di ba? Pag tayo tumitingin ng mga basura na yan, kung tayo nakasakay ng bangka. Kasi nga po, may dagat. And then, yung dagat na yun, di ba, malalim yung dagat. So, hindi nga natin nakikita to. Okay, and then that dagat is a representation of our inventory. If ang inventory natin ay napakadami, parang tinatago niya yung problema. Okay? Hindi nare-reveal yung problema. Na-address lang natin kung alin yung nakikita, pero yung mga problemang iba pa ay nakatago. Parang binan-aidan nitong inventory natin. With the concept of just in time, parang itong inventory natin na to ay medyo, or yung tubig natin ay medyo pabababawi natin. Pababawi natin in such a way pa na makikita na rin natin yung mga problema na nasa seafloor. Okay? Malinaw po doon? And then, kung nakita na natin yung problema na to, we can eventually address it. Okay? Okay, so ito po yung mga examples natin. So, as much as possible, mami-minimize natin yung inventory as a solution natin, or a problem solver natin being the inventory. So, kung mapapababa natin yung level of inventory natin, not necessarily zeroing it, ma-address natin yung mga problema na to. Like, for example, machine downtime. Diba? So, how can you immediately address itong machine downtime? Yung frequency ng machine downtimes na to. How can you address itong supplier issues? Ayan. So, kumbaga, yeah, it takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of efforts to address all these concerns. But mas maganda na yung ina-address siya kaysa sa hinahayaan natin siya nakatago. Okay? Okay, so that's how just-in-time works. Yun nga, just-in-time, right material, right time, right place, and you're providing it the right amount. Okay, so sa Taguchi models, concepts naman po as part of the 7 or as part of the concepts ng TQM, it's like design of experiments, whereas tinitingnan dito yung quality robustness, yung loss function, and target-oriented quality. In here, we're trying to identify yung mga process variations, variables, and key components that would affect yung variation natin. Example, napakita natin to kanina. So this is your target line and these are your tolerance level. So anything that falls outside this tolerance level, ito yung resulta natin. Okay, mako-consider natin as bad. Tama? And then anything na nandito, okay, good parts. Good. Okay? But then, in reality po pala, sa konsepto ni Taguchi, even if nandito siya, ito siya, ito yung points, ito yung tolerance natin. Di ba, initially, mako-consider natin siya as good, conventionally. Tama? Pero, sa Taguchi concept, this can be treated as bad na rin po. Bakit siya bad? Kasi, or partially bad. Kasi po, ito yung target line mo. So, dapat yung resulta natin, as much as possible, close dito sa level ng target at hindi yung malapit na siya dito sa loss. So, possibly, may mga na-encounter ka ng issues dito, pero still you consider this as a good part using conventional method. Okay? An example nito ay ito. If you're able, so the red here, the red, ano ba tawag dito? The red portion here indicates yung mga bad parts natin. Okay, mga losses natin. So, pag tumataas, pag mas marami tayong results na within the target level, within the center line, ano nangyayari sa losses natin? Bababa. Nakuha? So, that's the concept of Taguchi loss function. So, as much as possible, nandito sa gitna yung ating mga resulta. And that would eventually reduce yung variability natin. Kasi nga po, halos dikit-dikit dito sa gitna yung maraming resulta. Okay? So, ayan po. An example is ito. Pag nag-harvest ka ng orange, sabi daw po, 5 days after the harvest, that's the best orange na, or that's the orange na most satisfied ka. most satisfied ka dun sa lasa. Okay, day 5 after the harvest. So, using the conventional method, setting yung limits natin na to. If pagka-harvest, then 1 day after kinain mo siya, hindi ka satisfied. Bad part, yung orange na yun. And similarly, if nagtagal na siya, let's say 9 days after the harvest, bad part na rin po, bad orange. Wala na lasa. Okay? But then if it's 5 days, it's 3 days, it's 7 days, okay, masasabi natin na okay, good pa siya. But not as good enough as those harvested or after 5 days. Or those that we ate after 5 days ng pagka-harvest. Okay? So dito sa Taguchi concept, di ba itong day 3, okay, good part siya conventionally. Di ba? Kasi nga pasok siya dito sa limits natin. But then, hindi tayo fully satisfied. Tama? Similarly dito, pag day 7 na yung orange natin, hindi tayo fully satisfied. Okay, unlike dito sa day 5. So that's how Taguchi concept works. Kailangan mas marami kang resulta na within this level, this target level, rather than dun sa mga results dito na close dito sa limits natin. Okay? Okay. Next concept is yung TQM. So we have 7 QC tools, but then it's important to group it into 3. One is on generating tools for generating ideas or generating data. Check sheet, scatter diagram, cause and effect diagram. In here, wala pa tayong solusyon na nakukuha. We're just collecting data. Okay? We're just generating data. But then, itong mga data na yun can be organized in either Pareto chart. In Pareto chart, you can able to reveal ano yung pinakamalaking problema or saang area dapat tayo magbigay ng focus. And sa flow chart, you can able to see asan yung mga redundancies, yung mga problema dun sa ating proseso. And once the data have been or the data have been organized, ngayon hahanapin natin ano kaya yung paano natin malalaman yung problema. Okay? Kailan natin malalaman yung problema? Saang banda? Okay. So, yun nga po, ito yung 7 QC tools natin. Check sheets. We have a scatter diagram, cause and effect diagram. So, we have capstones here. Okay. So, once again, minimal dapat yung paninisis sa tao, but then that could be part of data gathering din. So, let's say, for example, miss free throw. So, miss free throw, possibly caused by the ball. Okay? Malaki, gano'ng kalaki ba or kaliit yung bola natin, and then yung air pressure ng bola, and then yung grip, yan, etc. Then shooting process for the method, yung aiming point, yung balance, yung hand position, and so on and so forth. For manpower naman po, we have like the training, the motivation, ayan, consistencies. But then again, we're at the end of the day, hindi naman natin kailangan sisihin yung tao, maybe dun sa proseso niya. Okay. And then, yun nga, sa machine, with regards sa rim and sa backboard natin, ito yung mga factors. Okay. Then, in terms of organizing the data, you have the Pareto chart, which whereas we're able to see alin yung area na most problematic. Ayan, and later on, this will be our focus. And we're expecting that most of the problems will eventually be solved by addressing this problem. Okay, and then flow charts, very important to always visualize yung ating steps. Like for example, in here, you can able to see alin yung mga processes natin na pwede nating i-eliminate, asan yung mga redundancies natin, paano natin siya ma-address. Okay? Then histogram po, occurrences naman po. And then statistical process control, whereas you're able to see if our process is getting out of control, we must stop the process and later on evaluate it. Then, ayan, then isolve natin yung problema. Okay, that's how statistical process control works. Okay, so dito po sa SPC, we're using statistics and control charts to take corrective actions. Okay, and it also drives process improvements and the likes. Okay, so we'll discuss in detail ano yung statistical process control later. But for your next laboratory, you'll be doing some study ulit dito. So like for example, given yung ating mga total quality management concepts, ayan, bakit ano po yung ginawang project ni Nike regarding their integrating of ERP system? Paano siya nakatulong sa kanila? Ano yung konsepto ng fast fashion model ni Zara? Again, just to have a discussion on that. And then yung JIT approach ni Dell, and then yung FINS solution ni Graytons being a watch industry. So ano ba yung FINS? Okay, and then for other groups, yun nga, you can just search ano yung mga continuous improvement initiatives or mga total quality management initiatives ng isang company na mapipili nyo. Okay, so just to simplify kung sino po yung assignment natin dito. So group 1 will be assigned sa Nike, group 2 sa Zara, group 3 kay Dell, group 4 kay Graytons, group 5 po and group 6 kayo po ang maghahanap ng sarili nyong example ng application ng mga quality management concepts na na-cover natin kanina. Okay, questions? Questions? Any questions po?
Sir,
Yes.
tungkol po dun sa QFD po, yung dun po sa mga techniques po, technical po ba? Wait lang po, check ka lang po. Kung ano po, kasali pa po ba yon? Yung mga technical assessment, mga ganun po?
Okay. Yung halimbawa, nutritional content, halimbawa lang po, hindi na po. Kasi wala po tayo, I think napaliwanag ko to last time, na wala po tayo dun sa industry.
Opo,
Wala po
gawa
tayong
lang po
sapat
ng...
na alam about dun sa mga technical standards na yun.
Okay po, sir. Thank you po.
Okay. Any more questions?
Kailan po reporting po yan?
Nito. Yes, 2 weeks. 2 weeks tayo. So that would be on the 21. Okay? On the 21st. Okay, any more questions? Wala. Okay. So ito, mabilis lang. SPC. Ayan, yun nga, part siya kasi ng ating mga topics na kailangan i-cover. So SPC. So in here, sa continuation lang po ng quality management tools natin. And ito pong i-cover nyo to in detail sa susunod na mga subjects nyo. But then, just to give you a brief overview about SPC. So ang SPC ay actually, or SQC na hati sa dalawa, statistical process control and acceptance sampling. Pag sinabing statistical process control, it's like, yun nga, it's a QC tool na ma-identify natin ano yung progreso ng ating process, and then mo-monitor natin, and then kung may makita tayo yung something out of control, then kailangan natin siya ma-address. Acceptance sampling naman po, ito yung konsepto whereas rather than checking, rather than measuring, sabihin natin, rather than inspecting all output natin, we can like randomly select. Let's say if you have 1 million pieces produced on that hour, we can just randomly select 10 pieces out of that 1 million. and then itetest natin. And then whatever result nung 10 piraso na yun, if all ba ay good parts, then kung good parts siya, ibig sabihin yung 1 million pieces ay good parts. Then if some of these are bad parts, then we can treat those 1 million pieces as partially bad parts. Okay? So rather than exerting all your efforts on evaluating this 1 million pieces, you can just do acceptance sampling. Pero it's not all that time. Kami halimbawa sa amin sa production, may 100% inspection kami na kailangan. Okay, ibig sabihin, kung 1 million pieces na ipoproduce niya, kailangan 1 million pieces i-inspect namin. Again, depende yan sa industry kung nagkakaroon ba sila ng sampling or wala. Okay? Ayan. Okay. So, yun nga po. Normally, ang acceptance sampling nangyayari when dun sa ating input sa mga raw materials natin. We have what they call as incoming quality. Ito yung mga raw materials na dumating sa planta nyo. Halimbawa, you have several barrels of, let's say, several drums of coils. Okay? You have, ang isang drum nagko-contain ng 10 piraso. Malinaw? And then, syempre, sa concept ng acceptance sampling, kukuha ka lang ng ilang piraso dun sa drum na yon para i-check mo. So let's say I'll pick 1 out of the 10 pieces na laman ng drum na yon. And then, if good siya, then ibig sabihin yung 10 piraso na yun or yung lahat ng content ng drum na yun ay good parts. Okay? While kung yung iba naman po, halimbawa ito, 10 uli, yung laman ng drum na yun, nagpick ako ng isa, and then yung pinikong isa ay bad parts, may something out of specs, may maling measurement, may maling timbang na ganyan, I can consider all of those 10 pieces as bad parts. That's how acceptance sampling works. Questions? Wala naman. And then similarly for the finished goods, yun nga, we can just do acceptance sampling, trying to see if, halimbawa, may batches tayo. We'll just pick one batch, one piece out of that batch. Then we can just do acceptance sampling. Similarly din dito. Ito naman po sa outgoing quality na tinatawag. Okay, well, process control is more of within our processes. So ito yung process 1, may control chart siya if yung output ba niya is within the specification level or within the limits. And then we have process 2, may control chart din. Process 3, may control chart. Kanya-kanyang control chart kada process. Okay. Ngayon, sabi ko nga po, may mga cases kami na 100% inspection. So, for the finished goods, so hindi kami nag-accept ng sampling. And meron din po mga cases na 200% inspection. Ano yun? Na-inspect mo na siya 100%, lahat ng parts na yun. And then, i-re-inspect mo ulit. Okay, and then isa-certify natin na those pieces underwent 200% inspection. Okay? Next, sa SPC, alam naman natin na yung variability is inherent. Ibig sabihin, andun na siya mismo, yung variability. For example, shades ng kulay, mga weights na pabago-bago kung minsan talaga. Depende sa halimbawa, temperature, nagbabago yung weight or yung timbang ng isang bagay. So those are cases of natural variation. So those natural variation po ay something na hindi na natin magagawa ng paraan, hindi na natin sayang eliminate. That's the reason kung bakit nag-exist yung ating mga limits na to. At hindi lahat ay we're expecting na within the target. Okay, we set the limits because there exist natural causes of variation. Okay? While this one, assignable causes of variation, these are something na kailangan nating i-review, i-evaluate, and then later on i-eliminate. Bakit? Kasi nagkakaroon possibly ng deviation dun sa resulta kasi posible na apektuhan siya ng mga machine variation, na mga nagkakaroon ng wear and tear, parang may mga tagas na oils, ganyan. And then possibly may bagong worker na nagtrabaho. So kailangan natin siya ma-address or may nabago dun sa proseso, may nakalimutan. So kailangan natin siyang i-review. So those things are what they call as assignable causes of variation. Okay? So, yun nga po, we are setting up an SPC in order for us to first detect where the problem exists. Okay? Halimbawa, ito, you have several results every minute. Yan po yung result natin. And then, there come to a point na, okay, may nag-out of spec tayo. Ayan. May lumabas dun sa ating control limits na to. Okay, dun sa ating tolerance na yan. Ibig sabihin, kailangan mo na, okay, na-detect natin. Kailangan natin siyang i-stop yung proseso. Ayaw naman natin kasi na magtuloy-tuloy siya given na may na-detect na tayong ganito, na may nag-fail na. Kasi pag may nag-fail to, something is wrong. And that wrong thing ay kailangan nating ma-address kaagad. Okay? Ayaw naman natin kasi na mapasa yung mga bad parts na to, yung mga out of specs na parts sa next process, which then mapapasa ulit sa next processes. Ayaw nating mangyari yun. Okay? So, ito po yung example natin ng control chart. So, we have what they call as yung target level and then the upper control limit and then the lower control limit. Then, ito yung mga resulta natin. Okay? And as you can see, one point here is out of control. Ibig sabihin, kailangan ko na i-stop yung process. Kailangan ko i-review bakit siya nag-out of spec. Okay? Ayan. So again, we're setting upper control limit and lower control limit because there always exists natural causes of variation which we cannot eliminate. Kaya po may allowance na ganito. Okay? Kasi alam natin, inherent, may variation. Okay, and then kung may mga ganyan, kagaya ng point na to, these are cases of assignable causes of variation. So, kailangan nating i-review and then later on i-eliminate. Okay? Okay. So, dito po sa control charts natin, we have, sorry ha, may mga notes na tayo dito. We have, ayusin natin ng pangit. Okay. Sa control charts, napakarami po nating control charts. Pero commonly, nahati po siya sa dalawa. One is control charts for the data that is continuous and the other one is for the control charts dun sa counting data natin. So let's cover first itong dalawa. Pag sinabi nating variable data or continuous data, ito yung something na measurable. Yung kaya nating i-measure. Halimbawa, timbang, temperature, elasticity, density, speed, so on and so forth. Well, this attributable data, ito yung countable. Hindi natin siya kayang i-measure, pero kaya natin siyang bilangin. Okay? And halimbawa, ilan yung pass, ilan yung fail, ilan yung good, ilan yung bad, ilan yung go, ilan yung no-go. Okay? Question po sa dalawang to? Okay, I'll take that as no question. Then we have a variable data. For control charts ng variable data, we have X bar chart, R chart, and many others. Sa ngayon, ito lang po muna yung ating i-cover. Pero pag nasa industry ka, hindi lang ito. Napakarami pang other charts. But then, the concept-wise, it's almost the same. Okay, so X bar chart, ito po yung measure for central tendency for the mean. And then R chart for the variation. Okay? Pag sinabi nating X bar chart, halimbawa po, ang tinitingnan dito is ganito yung klase ng chart niya. Okay, ito muna yung tinatawag nating X double bar. Upper control limit for your X bar chart, lower control limit for your X bar chart. Bakit po X bar? Ibig sabihin, yung mga data dito, yan po yung mga X bar. X bar po ang mga yan. Okay? Ngayon, paano daw po computein yung X bar? Halimbawa, again, ipasok natin yung concept ng acceptance sampling. Meron tayong 10 boxes. Okay? Yan po yung 10 boxes natin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then 10. Okay, and then yan yung 10 boxes natin. Acceptance sampling, kumuha lang tayo ng 6. Tiga-6 sa kanila. Okay, and then syempre, winay natin anong result ng 6 na yun. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yan po yung result ng 6. Ito din, result ng 6. Okay? And then so on and so forth. Ngayon, syempre ito, i-average natin. Then we can get the x bar 1. Kasi ito yung sample 1, sample 2, sample 3. Okay? Then ito, x bar 2. So yung mga points, yung x bar 1, yun yung ipapoint mo dito sa chart. X bar 2, x bar 3, x bar 4, x bar 5, so on and so forth. Malinaw. And then, para makuha natin yung center line na yun, or yung ating target, ito po ay i-average natin. That's why it's double bar. Average, average of the averages. Malinaw. Okay? Then our chart naman po, since that's part of the variable data, pwede nating makuha ano po yung highest value, lowest value dito sa sample na to. 'Di ba? Malaki kita natin. Ano ang pinakamataas, ano ang pinakamababa. Then you can get the R. Makikita nito yung R1, dito din sa R2, dito din sa R3, so on and so forth. And then we can establish a chart sa kanila. You can get the R. And then yung mga data natin dito, UCL, upper control limit for the R, lower control limit for the R. Itong mga points na to, those represents yung mga R's natin or mga ranges. R meaning range. Okay? So on and so forth. Questions? Okay. Next, attribute data naman po. Again, countable data. We're trying to look ano yung percent defective. Percent defective meaning ito yung total items na defect divided by sa total items na chinek mo na or sa sample natin. Then C chart naman po. So, ang itsura naman niya, ito yung center line, P bar, and then upper control limit for your P chart, lower control limit for your P chart. Then, sa C chart naman po, you're focusing on number of defects. Pag sinabing number of defects, halimbawa, ito yung nameplate. Ayan, ito yung nameplate ng inyong kung ano man na product nyo. And then may nakita kayong mga scratches dyan. Bibilangan nyo yung scratch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then you have another nameplate. Ilan yung scratches? 5 din. And then i-average nyo lamang sila to see, to construct the C chart. Okay? Okay. So ito po yung formula natin for the X bar chart, setting up the upper control limit and the lower control limit. X double bar plus A2 R bar, X double bar minus A2 R bar for the lower control limit. R refers to the average of the ranges. X double bar refers to the average of the averages. And then we have A2, ito yung constant natin na mag-vary siya depending sa kung ano yung sample size natin. If you go back here, ang sample size natin dito is 6. Bakit? Kasi yun yung naging sampling natin. 6 na samples ang kinuha natin sa sample sa box 1 na to. Okay? 6 na piraso lang. So, N natin is 6 or the sample size natin is 6. Okay. So, an example nito, so meron kang isang output. So, ito yung result natin. And then to calculate for the X double bar, sorry, that's the range pala muna. Wala namang problema kahit anong unahin. Ayan. Then, i-average lang nila para malaman natin yung range. And then, for the mean, naman po, i-average lang to, i-average lang to, then i-average yung result, you'll get the average. Then, N is equal to 9 dito. Okay. So, yan. In-average lang nila. And then, sinet up nila. So, ito po, table for E2, D4, and D3i, constants naman po ito na nagva-vary depende sa sample size natin. For that case, 9 po yung ating sample size. So, ito yung ating E2. And then, yun, ilalagay nyo lang yung sa formula na to. Then, you can be able to construct the chart, the upper and lower control limits. Now, to give a better example, okay, hindi ko naman na to. Gagawa na ako na akin. I think book based na lang muna tayo. Okay, kuha lang ako ng sample dito. Okay, I think this one. Okay. Hirap i-copy nito eh. Sana mag-work. Okay. So let's say meron tayong 25 na samples dito. Next space finished. Ay nga pala guys, ako po ay hindi part ng quality team. So I'm lacking sa training dito sa quality ano. So I'm more book based na matuturo ko sa inyo dito. Okay, but nevertheless, okay lang yan. So let's say ito yung ating mga boxes. Okay. Or mga batch. So, mas maganda yung batch. So for the first batch, kumuha lang tayo ng 5 samples. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 samples. So for this case, it's like, ito po. Battery core po ay, yan po yung kanya. There is no problem because his batteries have an average life of 50 hours. About 10% longer than in competitor models. So to reach the lifetime above this level, this would require a new level of technology not available to the West. Nevertheless, he is concerned enough to set up an early assembly line checks. Okay? And yun daw po yung samples niya. He's trying to construct control chart limits. Okay? So, yun nga po. Kailangan daw po natin mag-construct ng X bar and R chart. Okay. So, once again, ito yung unang batch ng battery niya. Halimbawa, for day 1, kumuha lang siya ng, out of the total production nila, kumuha lang sila ng 5 battery. And then, mineasure nila yung voltage nila. Na to. Okay? So, what we can do is, ayan, hanapin natin yung average niya. Average. Okay? So, nakuha na natin yung average. Average ng bawat batch. Question? Wala po. Then, makakapag-construct na tayo ng X double bar. So, insert symbol. I think meron dito eh. X double bar. Okay, hindi ko makita yung X double bar. Pero, ilagay ko na lang po X bar bar or X double bar to compute for the average of the averages. So, yung average ko lang po ito. Okay? Question? Ngayon, pwede ko pong computein din yung range natin dito. So, it's for the first batch, highest, less lowest. So, it's, anong highest dito? 51 minus 49. Tama. Again, lagyan lang natin to ng konting separation. Okay po. Nakuha kung bakit 2. Highest, less lowest. Ngayon, again, just to simplify it, so I'll just pick the max of here. Ima-minus ko yung minimum sa kanila. And then, yan, makukuha ko na yung range. So as you can see here, 22, kasi it's 64 and then 42. So the difference of the two is 22. Question? the average range, i-average din natin. So, equal to the average. Ito. Okay? Questions? Wala pa. Okay. Now, let's construct for the X bar chart. For the X bar chart, alam natin yung center line. Compute natin ang UCL. So, for the center line, that is equivalent sa X double bar. Again, center line. Then we have the upper control limit. Okay, upper control limit is equivalent sa X double bar plus A2 R bar. So, yan ako lang to. Ayusin ko lang. Okay, malinaw po. Yan po yung formula niya. So, ang ating X double bar is ito. Tama? Plus, ano ang A2 natin? So, ilagay muna pala natin dito. So, ano po yung ating N muna? Ano ang ating sample size? Ang sample size natin dito is ito. 1, di ba 5? Ano? Kasi 5 samples ang kinuha natin na itetest sa kada isang batch ng battery. Tama? And then, we can look dun sa table natin na ito. Para malaman natin what's the value of okay, so again, this is constant na itong table na to for the 3 sigma level or 99.73% acceptable reach or confidence level. So, n is equal to 5. Ang A2 natin, 0.58. Malinaw? Okay po. So, ang UCL natin is X double bar plus A2 times the R bar. Just to ensure na tama yung formula natin, I'll just put a parenthesis here. So, meron na tayong upper control limit. Okay? Then, pangalanan natin X bar. Para klaro. Okay? Then, ayan. Next is lower control limit naman po. Lower control limit is equal sa center line, X double bar, minus A to R bar. Malinaw? X double bar natin is ito, minus parenthesis, A2 R bar. 38. Okay? So, ayan, meron na tayong limits. So, ano napansin natin? May out of control ba tayo? So, acceptable region natin is 38 to 61. 38. May nag-fall ba under ng 38? Nakikita ba kayo nag-fall under 38? Wala. Tama? Agree po kayo? Then, may nag-fall ba outside 61? Wala din. So, ibig sabihin, in control pa tayo. To construct it, syempre itong ipa-plot ko, itong point na to. So, brute force yung aking gagamitin para lang makapag-charting tayo. Sorry. Okay lang ha. Ang CL gawin kong center line of X bar. Okay lang ha. Ayan. Para lang. So, again, ginagawa ko lang to for the charting purposes para lang ma-visualize natin. Ayan, binasta ko na siya. Okay. So, ang gagawin ko, ito, ipa-plot ko, and then itong tatlong ito. So, I'll just go to insert. Line chart lang ang aking gagawin. And then, ayan, babasahin ko na ha. Pero, gawin ko 30. Yung minimum. Or gawin ko 35. Ayan, and then, to yung blue na yan ay gagawin kong scatter plot. Ayan, then may center line. Yung iba, pinagdudugtong-dugtong to, like for example, sorry, ganito yung sa iba. Hindi scatter plot, kundi ito. Or ito. Ayan, ganyan. Kasi mas maganda siyang makita pag mas maraming data. Pero for now, dahil nga po 25 lamang naman po yung ating data points. So, hinayaan ko na lang na ganito. Then we have the upper control limit. Remove natin to. Yan, we have the upper control limits. Ayun, palitan ko lang ng kulay. Bastahin ko na ha. Saan yung kulay na yun? And then we have the center line na ito. Ayan. And then paliitin ko lang ng wait. Ayan. So, anong mapapansin niyo sa ating X-bar chart? Okay. Ano mapapansin natin sa X-bar chart? In process pa siya. Malinaw kasi lahat ng mga points na to ay pasok dun sa limits niya. Question? Nakuha po itong X-bar chart? Okay. Now, range chart naman po tayo.
Opo.
Okay. Range chart naman po ang ating gagawin or R chart. Sa R chart, same, may formula rin po tayong gagamitin dito which is, asan ka? Ito po. Sorry, hindi yan. R chart, ito naman po. D4 and D3 multiply by R bar. So kung alin yung mas maliit sa D4 and D3, then definitely siya yung ating lower control limit. Okay? So ilagay ko dito. I'll just use R. Sorry. Center line for the R chart. That's subscript ko lang to. Center line for the R chart, that is equivalent dito. Okay? Then, ayan, kukonstruct ko lang to. So, okay, ulit. Ayan. Okay. For the center line, ayan, meron na tayong center line. And then for the upper control limit, that's equal sa D4. Sorry, D4. D4 R bar. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, while for the lower control limits, that is equal sa D3. D3 R bar. Okay? So, again, we'll look dito sa table natin na to. Anong value ng, oops, ano ginawa ko? Okay, ulit. Okay, value ng D4 with N is equal to 5 kasi 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 samples ang kinuha natin. 5 ay 2.12. Okay? Is equal sa 2.12, i-multiply natin sa R bar, which is ito. Okay? And for D3, D3 natin, n is equal to 5, that's 0. 0, i-multiply natin dito. Then 0 yung ating R bar. Ngayon, yung range natin, check natin, mula 0 to 41. May nag-exceed ba ng 41? Wala. So, seems like, tama na, wala nag-exceed ng 41. Seems like, good. In control pa yung process natin. So, again, gagawa ako ng brute force na R chart. Again guys, marami namang ways para gawin to. Sa ngayon, ito yung naisip ko na way. So, equal ito. Again, but I think this one is the simplest. Kung hindi ako nagkakamali. And then equal upper control limit. And then for the lower control limits, that's 0. And then, ito i-copy ko na lang. Sorry. Copy ko na lang to. Then, change ko na lang for the upper control limit for your X bar chart. Okay, got it? Then, ayan, clinic ko lang to. Range chart ng usapan natin. So, minove ko lang para lang mas simple. And then, center line. Oh, hindi na pala yun. Ano ginawa ko? Ulit. Sige, anuhin ko na lang. Select data na lang. So, range, edit. Okay. Then, for the center line natin is center line ng R is ito. Okay. UCL. Okay. Then, LCL. Ito. Then, ito yung data natin. Then, okay. And then, ayan yung data natin. Babaguhin ko lang to. I-reset ko siya to 0. And then, papalitan ko lang ng kulay para lang maayos-ayos. Then, yung center line natin, gagawin ko lang color gray or white. Then, papalitin ko lang siya. Then, meron na tayong R chart. So, ayan, kita naman natin dito sa R chart na mukhang, yeah, although may variability dito, ayan o, malalayo yung points, but still, so far, in control pa siya. So, parehong chart, X bar and R chart ay parehong in control pa. Question? Again, with regards sa knowing if whether or assessing whether yung ating process is in control or out of control. So, ilagay muna natin. X bar chart indicates that process is in control. And similarly, yung ating R chart that indicates that the process is also in control. Okay. Now, how will we know if it's in control or out of control? Yung basic lang po ang aking ituturo. The basic is, pag nag-fall outside dito sa control limits, may point na nag-fall outside sa control limits, then we can say na out of control siya. Okay? So for this case, lahat sila ay nag-fall inside that limits, then in control sila. Okay? Pero definitely, there are several other rules. Rules po ha. Napakarami ng rules to identify whether the process is in control or out of control or getting out of control. Okay? May mga indicators na rin doon. Pero hayaan ko na lang po dun sa mga sunod nyong sessions yung mga rules na yun. But for the meantime, yun nga po, pag nag-fall outside, that's out of control na yung process and therefore needs our attention. Questions? Question on establishing X bar in our chart?
Sir, yung table po, saan po makikita yun? Ano pong tawag?
Ito po.
Yung po may constant.
Yung may constant. Ito. Ano bang tawag dito? Actually, ano bang tawag dun? Paano ba natin may... Ito po, parang siyang yung sa statistics, yung may table kada level, degree of freedom, yung parang ganun. May statistics table din po. So, ganun din po ito. Okay? Pero may way naman to derive this. Kaso hayaan ko na lang siya in detail sa IQC. Hindi ko na rin halos matandaan eh. Pero may formula po na para malaman to. But for now po, stick na lang muna tayo dito sa table. Okay?
Okay po.
Hindi ko lang matandaan eh yung mga formula. Para sa A2, may dito pa tayo, D4, D3. May small letter D, D4, small letter D, D3. Ayan. May formula po yun. Pero, yun nga, sa OM naman, ito lang muna tayo. Yung table na to ay parang constant na. Table of constants. Okay? Okay po. So, any more questions? Before we proceed dun sa second item natin or second charts natin, which is P chart and C chart. Okay. Seems wala. So, yun nga po, may mga cases tayo na, halimbawa ito, so in control yung variation natin, yung R chart natin is in control with 3 sigma, meaning 99.73% confidence. Pero may mga cases tayo na kagaya nito, yung R chart natin is out of control, pero in control pa yung process natin, yung ating X bar chart. So overall process natin is out of control. Kasi nga po, yung isang chart natin is nag-out of control na. So that requires attention na. So that's why it's very important po na hindi lang stand-alone, hindi lang iisa lang po yung ating titingnan na chart, kundi multiple charts po when we're reviewing the overall process. Okay, like for this case, X bar and R chart po, laging magkasama. And then there are several other charts na pwedeng isama pa rin dito na obtained from just this set of data. Marami pa pong charts na pwedeng i-construct. Okay? So ito naman po yung case na whereas out of control naman yung ating X bar chart, then yung R chart natin ay in control, but still overall process is out of control. Ayan, halimbawa ito, out of control yung isa, although ito in control, then out of control to. So in conclusion, the entire process is not in control. Okay? So yun po yung ating X bar chart. Now, let's proceed sa attribute data or sa counting data. So in here, you're just determining if a particular product is a good or no good, good or bad parts, and the likes. So let's have an example for the P chart. So ito po yan. So sa P chart, may formula po tayo. UCL for the P chart is equal to P bar plus Z is equal to P bar multiplied by 1 minus P bar divided by N, where N is your sample size. Ang Z natin kalimitan is 3, meaning ito yung Z score na number of standard deviations from the mean. Okay, so let's have a sample. I'll just pick one sample na lang dito para makita natin. Ano ba magandang example? Ito. C chart 2 eh. Okay, ito nga. Okay. So, ito po yung ating gawing example. Sana maganda. Okay, 15. Okay. So one of the New England's air type competitive priorities is on-time arrival. So kailangang i-review daw nila if on-time yung arrival nila. Then Quality VP decided to personally monitor the performance and each week of the past 30 weeks. So ayan, 30 weeks yung data natin. Ayan po, yung 30 weeks. Chinek niya kung ilan daw po yung band or that VP check a random sample of 100 flight arrivals for on-time performance. Okay? The table that follows contains a number of flights that did not meet arrival, the definition of on-time. Okay? Malinaw po yung sitwasyon. So 100 flight arrivals, ibig sabihin nito, out of 100 flights, dalawa yung late. Out of 100 flights for the week 3, 10 yung late. Malinaw. Before I transfer it. Malinaw po ha. So, tumambay ka muna dyan. Okay. Ito, and then, ito. Okay. Okay, so again, just to clean up the data set, ito po ang itsura niya. Ito yung week. And then we have the late flights. So, given po yan yung ating result. Okay. So again, yung ating sample is 100. Okay? Sample natin is 100. Now, our objective here is to construct a P chart. Bakit po P chart? Kasi parang dito, late or not late. Di ba ganun? At this is an example of an attribute data. Tama? Good. Late. Not late. Late on time. Dalawa ang late. Malinaw po. And then out of 100. So therefore, we can determine ano yung chance na late. So 2 divided by 100 for that day. Malinaw? Yung ginawa ko? Okay. Now, pwede po nating makompute na yung average dito. Average na late o probability of late flight. Okay? Probability of late flight is equal to the average nito. Malinaw. Malinaw po yung ginawa ko? Okay?
Opo.
Or pwede rin po na ganito yung mangyari. Another formula po is equal to the sum po nito. Okay? Ayusin mo natin. Total late flights. Total late flights natin is 120. Then, yung 120 na yun ay i-divide natin sa sample size na 100. Malinaw? Multiply by the 30. That results sa similar dito. Okay po. Total flights divided by 30 times 100. Okay. Now, or dito sa presentation, ito po yung ibig sabihin niya. Total number of errors divided by total number of records examined. So, kumbaga, total late flights and total number of flights checked. So, total number of flights checked 30 weeks multiplied by 100 kada isang linggo. So, that's equals sa ganyan. Malinaw. Okay. Next, kukonstruct tayo ng upper control limit. Dito na lang. So, for the P chart, we'll be looking on the para lang mas simple. For the center line ng ating P chart, that's equal sa dito. Okay? Then for the center, ito, medyo mahirap yung formula niya. upper control limit for your P chart, that's equal sa, that's equal sa P bar plus Z multiply by the square root of your P bar multiply by the 1 minus P bar divided by your N. Yan, ganyan po yung formula niya. Oh, sorry. Okay, ayusin ko lang to. Sala. Okay, ayaw niya. Ibar. Okay, ito subscript. Then, ito then subscript. Okay. Yan. So, Z square root of ganyan. Okay. So, equal siya. So, ang unahin muna natin. Ang N natin nga pala is equal. N is equal to 100. Malinaw kasi 100 samples po kada week yung chinek niya. Okay? And then yung Z natin, nilalat natin siya as 3 commonly. So, equal siya sa P bar plus Z na 3 multiply by the square root of P bar times 1 minus P bar divided by 100. Okay? So, may result na tayo. Okay po. Similarly, ganyan din po yung formula dito sa lower control limit. Yun nga lang, minus yung gagamitin. So, ito, lagay ko lang dun, lagay ko lang dun, lagay ko lang dun. Then, minus po ang gagamitin ko dito. Then, kung mapapansin nyo, negative siya. Nakuha, negative siya. So, wala namang negative na percentage, wala namang negative na probability. So, inilalat na lang siya 0. Malinaw po. Ayan ha. From negative, gagawin ko na lang siyang 0. Now, ibig sabihin po nito, masasabi natin na out of control na yung process na to if may nag-fall outside 0. Sabihin natin 0.1. So, ano napansin nyo dito? May data ba tayo na nag-fall outside sa 0.1 or 0.098 or 0.099? Meron ba? Yes po. Ito. So, just to map it or to graph it. Sorry, it should be P. Ayan, igagraph lang po natin ha. Para alam natin to. So, equal siya sa center line na ito. Upper control limit. Then, we have 0. Okay. And then, igagraph lang natin to. So, go to insert again. Ayun, kita nyo na yun. Mga out of, ano yan, out of control na yung process natin. So, I'll just name it as P chart. Okay. For light delays. Okay, and then ayusin na natin ang konti yung data natin. This one is upper control limit. Lagay natin ng ganyang kulay. For the data points, change chart type lang ako. Gagawin ko lang siyang scatter plot. Konti lang naman yung data. Sala. Okay, scatter plot. Okay, nawala yung isang point dito. Sala. Ba't dun siya pumatok? Okay. Ulit-ulit lang tayo. Kasi nawala yung isa eh. Then this one is, ako lang ganyan. Then center line. Bawasan ko lang ng kulay. Then for the points, change chart type lang ako. P atin gagawing scatter plot. Okay. Then yung iba, dahil nga po 30 to, parang mas maganda yata kung gawin na lang natin siyang ganito. And then yung lines niya is bawasan ko lang ng kulay yung line niya. Or gawin kong blue pa rin, pero ayan, okay na to siguro. Okay. So, ano napansin nyo sa ating P-chart? Kung i-analyze natin. Ayun, may out of control tayo, out of control, out of control. So, ibig sabihin, process is currently out of control. Therefore, it requires quality team attention. Attention meaning yung flight delays must be immediately addressed. Okay. Questions? Nakuha po? Questions about P-chart? Questions? Wala naman. Nakuha po to?
Wala po.
Okay. So, next natin is C-chart. So, sa C-chart naman po, it is used when a quality cannot be measured as a percentage. Ibig sabihin, hindi natin alam yung total number of samples. Kagaya nito, alam natin yung total na 100. Pero halimbawa, hindi natin to alam. Diba? So, C-chart naman po yung gagamitin natin. It can be, example po, is number of cars accidents per month or number of scratches sa nameplate. Halimbawa, ito. Meron tayong 4 na nameplates. May nakita tayo na 6 na scratches dito. 7 scratches sa another one. Then 2, then 3. Then we'll just average them to see the C-bar. Okay? So, ito po yung formula niya. Simple lang naman po. C-bar plus 3 square root of C-bar. Whereas C-bar means the number of defective or number of defects. Dito. Number of defects overall. Ayan. Number of defects on the samples. Okay? Okay. So, hanap tayo magandang example dyan. Okay. May magandang example ba dito? Ito. Halimbawa, ito po. Ang pangit eh. Aanim na dito. Wala masyado eh. Dagdagan na natin. So, an school board is trying to evaluate a new math program introduced to second graders in 5 elementary schools across the country this year. A sample of students' scores on a standardized math tests in each elementary school yielded the following data. Sa school A, ito yung number of test errors. So, hindi pinakita kung ano yung total number. Ano, our goal is to construct daw po a C chart for test errors and set limits on the 99.73% or 3 sigma level. And i-check natin if a new math program ay effective or hindi. So, let's see. So, once again, hindi natin alam yung totality. So, that's why gagamit tayo ng C chart. Okay. Number of test errors. Okay. Okay. So, ito siya. Number of test errors. So, dagdagan lang natin ng iba pa. Ano? F, G, H, I, J, K. Okay. Halimbawa, ayan, nagdagdag lang ako ng ilang points pa para maganda-ganda. Okay. So, since hindi naman binigay sa atin kung ilan ba yung total number of results, total number of exams, ang binigay lang sa atin ay ilan daw yung errors. Okay, whatever kind of error it is. Pero, yun nga po, ito. So, simply, we'll just average it para malaman natin yung C-bar niya. Okay, C-bar meaning that's the average of the errors. Okay, so that's the center line. And then for the UCL, okay, UCL ng C chart natin. Ayan. Okay, so simple lang po yung formula nito. We have C bar plus Z multiply by square root ng C bar. Okay, then dito naman po, ma-minus lang natin. Then makapag-construct na tayo ng C bar natin. So C plus Z natin. Ang Z natin daw gagamitin is 3 multiply by the square root of C bar. Then ganun din po yung gagawin natin dito sa kabila. Then yun nga lang, ito ay naka-minus. So, ibig sabihin, ang range nating acceptable na number of test results, test errors ay within 26 to 67. So, again, just to create a chart dito. So, equal then equal ito. Oops, sorry. Oh, ayaw gumana. Okay, and then pwede na tayo mag-construct ng chart. And then number of test errors. Okay, and then ayusin na natin ng konting-konti. Okay. Ito naman yung formatting, kayo na ang bahala. Depende yan sa inyo. Yung iba, gumagamit na lang ng minitab dito para mas simple. Kasi pag minitab, automatic na. Andun na rin yung mga control charts. Andun na rin yung mga, ano natin, mga, okay, hold on. Okay, pag kasi minitab, makakapag-construct ka na rin ng control charts doon. And then, yun nga, madali na. Okay, so ano masasabi natin dito? So, initially, in control pa yung process natin. In control pa siya. In control meaning yung ating new math, what do you call it? Program is still effective. Kasi nga po, ayan. Although dito sa simula, ineffective siya, pero over time, mukhang effective naman po. Kasi we are sustaining an error of 50. Okay, hindi ganun kalaki, hindi ganun ka-valid. So, questions? Questions po?
Wala po.
Wala po. Okay. So, now for the exercise. So, yun nga. Dapat dito, data-driven. Pinakamahalaga. And you are not just looking for one chart, but you have to look on several charts. Okay? Okay. So, questions? Now, for the exercise, for the laboratory po natin, saan ko ba sinave kasi yun? I think dito, sa section E. Ayan, for the laboratory po natin, ayan, dapat po maging creative kayo dito. Hindi ko po alam kung ano po mga measuring equipment or device na meron po kayo dyan sa bahay nyo. Pero pwede rin naman po kayo mag-research na lang po regarding sa data. So what you have to do po is to select any kind of process, any product, and then establish an SPC or a process control. Yun lang po yung instruction. So kahit na ano pong product, example, bumili ka ng 30 or 50 pieces na piatos, and then winame mo po yung isang piraso. Sorry, yung laman ng piatos, yung isang piraso ng laman ng piatos. Ayan, or kumuha ka ng 5 piraso kada lalagyan ng piatos, kada plastic ng piatos. And then, winame mo po ang kada isang piraso na yon. So, meron ka ng 5 samples. Then, isang piatos. Then, you have 50 piatos na kailangan gawa ng ganun data. Okay, and then that could be a range chart or an X-bar chart din. Okay. So, pwede rin po P-chart or C-chart. So, whichever po na chart na mag-work or na mag-fit nun sa inyong data. Okay? So, again, be creative dito. Questions?
Sir, by group ka po yan or individual?
By group po. Pero, ano bang prefer nyo? By group? Sige, by group na lang para less na din yung i-check ko. And then, ipe-present na lang din to sa 19th. Okay, bago tayo mag-capacity planning. Okay po. Any more questions? Any more questions po? Any more questions po?
Wala po, sir.
Wala po. So kung wala pong question, so next week po ay presentation tayo, and then hopefully, doon po sa presentation, not all po ay ipe-present. Halimbawa po, 2 laboratory activities lang po ang ipe-present ng isang team. Okay? So kung gusto niyo po, pwede na kayo mag-prepare kung anong 2 topics or 2 laboratory activities ang gusto nyong i-present sa klase para hindi na ako mag-random Okay? And then para hindi na rin kayo ma-surprise. Halimbawa, okay, we have group 1. Ayan. Kasi ito po ang plano ko dapat. Halimbawa, lab 10 and lab 11 ang gustong i-present po ng group 1. Pwede rin pong ganun din ang i-present ng group 4. Then ito naman, lab 12 halimbawa. Then ito ay lab 9. Kayo na po ang bahala dyan. Okay lang? So, tiga-dalawa po. Then, with regards sa presenters, kayo na rin po ang mag-decide para hindi na ako mag-random. Okay lang?
Okay
Opo,
po, sir.
Pa. So, any more questions?
Wala na po.
Wala na po.
Kaya na po,
So,
sir.
ito ay share ko na lang to sa inyo. SPC section. Okay. So, I think kung wala nang question, that's all for today. Maraming salamat po sa time nyo and have a great day ahead. Paalam po.
Thank you po,
Thank
sir.
you.
Thank you po.
Thank you po.
Sige po, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, wala naman to. Okay, drop call.